The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach, dear friends, do we go. And, well, we're up 8 points on the S&P cash. What we don't have is any volume, 1.84 billion shares. So we're coming in about another 200 million light of Friday, which was already an incredibly light day as we pushed higher. So we are into the dog days of August without any volume, just kind of ticking off. There's not a huge short position except in a handful of stocks. This is a day where we come to you at 2 o'clock and find, well, at least when I looked at them right after lunch, all the FANG stocks were lower. See if that's still true. Facebook off 92 cents. Do I have all of them out here? Nah. Amazon off $4. Kind of a weird day out here to come out and see market drive higher without the FANGs going higher. A little bit of divergence in this market. But if you were short a stock, it's probably not Microsoft or Facebook or Amazon. There's some short interest in those stocks, but it's the big guys that have been shorted, and they're probably moving a little bit more on a little short squeeze out here. What you know about volume is this, and that is that the proverbial camel that has 10 tons of straw on his back, for a market, they just like to throw another piece of straw on there. Let's just throw one more piece of straw on that, Mr. Camel. Just one more piece of straw on that camel until they break his back. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, they're Johnny on the spot today. And, of course, I'm in a much better mood. But I got to listen to a little bit of the In the Border from Al Stewart. We talked about that Friday on the pre-show warm-up. Always puts me in a good mood. Why don't they write songs like that anymore? Just you read the lyrics of it, just so descriptive, so wonderful. Of course, today, what do you get? You get a girl with a really nice voice singing "This Girl Is on Fire" 40 times. I think I got the idea that this girl is on fire. Probably call 911, have her put out, get some lyrics. Anyway, I'm one man against a world of bad lyrics. Anyway, what else do we have going on out here? Like I said, just the very light volume as we start this day off. Push to go to higher prices, but there's nothing going on. And, you just look at a market that just is so tired. It just doesn't know what to do. But, of course, no one can think about ever selling. But guess what? This is very close to a day, 60, 70, 85 years ago? Yeah, 85, 86, 87 years ago. Because it's all just history repeating.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Duffy in the Den says that Sirius lets you choose your decade of music. Now, if only I could program TFNN's music. What else do we have going on out here? 1929, Leonard Ayers of Cleveland Trust, one of the biggest nation's leading business economists. He's the guy that was always on the front page. If CNBC had existed then, he would have been the guy that they dragged out from the Wharton School of Business, telling everybody the market can only go higher. This is truly a new era in which formerly well-established standards of value for securities no longer retain their old significance. Like most people have declared any period to be a new era, errors turns out to be wrong, as within 2 months, the stock market crashes, ushering in the Great Depression and famous last words. And I saw about 4 or 5 people out today as I was fast forwarding through the what is about 7/8 political coverage on CNBC now. Doesn't have much to do with business news. Anything that they can do other than business news looks like what they're into today. There were a lot of questions that I would have liked to seen answered that were not. But what can we say on this day in 1929? Famous last words. But as they always say, the most dangerous words in trading are "it's different this time." If you watched any of the news in between the obligatory 7/8 coverage on nothing new happening in the election in the last 2 minutes, the NASDAQ dropped a bombshell today. We talked that probably the biggest change in the markets was coming when IEX won the SEC nod to allow them to start trading with a 350 millisecond speed bump, so that orders would have to be at least 350 milliseconds before they could be canceled. And of course, the NASDAQ saying, you know what, it was really, man, it was. Occasionally, you find such people that almost like the guy that who was the Saturday Night Guy that was lying all the time. He was acting. The big liar. I forget who it was on that. Anyway, this guy, we could have sued him. We had a really good case. But you know what? We decided we were just going to do what they're doing and do it a little better. We're going to do 1 second now. After, of course, they were the ones yelling and screaming that they didn't want anything to do with speed bumps. They are offering an extended life order type, which would move ahead of other similarly priced orders if they agree not to cancel their orders for approximately 1 second. Of course, that's more than IEX's 350 milliseconds that goes live in September. So what should we notice? Probably a decrease in volume is coming. Nothing has changed to this point. But I could say that when IEX shows up, that many of the big fund managers out there are going to have to show a fiduciary bias to maybe trading on the IEX, so that they can't say that they just gave away, even if it's a 0.5% of the returns after all the time, by being nickeled and dimed by high frequency traders. Could actually be at Nanex, excuse me. I hate that those companies have just the names so close. On Nanex, we've talked about Eric Hunsader's wonderful job of pointing out just how big of liars these guys are at the exchanges. But he's got a wonderful map on there that shows just how far you can go from New York City before you don't get actual orders anymore. We'll talk about more about this when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Thinkorswim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Traditionally at 727-445-1044.
And we talked about Eric Hunsader. We had him on the show a couple of times right after the flash crash. I think maybe a week or so after it. He was one of my first guests. I email him and talk to him a little bit, but he's got a great map. Where's it at here? It's somewhere in this list of stuff. It was there earlier. Maybe it's gone. I don't know why I missed it. But there was a great map. Maybe it broke the link. I don't see it anymore. Yeah, he had a great link on there earlier on his Twitter feed. And if you're interested in the inner workings of of any of these indexes, you might want to check his blogs and his white papers out. But his company literally has data on every order, whether it was executed or not. And he puts in orders occasionally when he sees people doing horrible things. He bought Amazon last week and noticed that they were able to, in half a second, run it up 20 cents before his order was actually executed. And not a good thing to do to somebody that actually has the juice to put some light on their thieving. But pretty interesting deal. But I don't know what else you can say about it. They have changed. You will have most likely lighter volume, as most of the, I think maybe you might have a little bit more consistent volume during the day as some of these hedge funds and other broker-dealers lose and leave these dark pools where they couldn't, they've done a lot of their trading. Great deal of the volume you see late in the day actually occurred earlier in these dark pools and just kind of coming out at the end of the day. And they might have a much more, a market that has a lot more going on in the mid parts of the day than we have. And in the olden days, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, I want to say 2003 or 4, there was a lot of intraday trading going on, even back to 1998. A lot of action midday, and just to see that it's nice that you can go to lunch for 2 hours and nothing happens in the market. But if you're a trader, especially an intraday trader, kind of a tough thing to live with. But no, I think maybe as our chapter of high frequency trading leaves the market, we may be back for more intraday action as a lot of these hedge funds maybe leave those dark pools where they were hiding from the high frequency traders already. So look for that. But of course, IEX opens up in September, and you might see a lot of change in the way volume works out during the day with that 350 millisecond. Oh, I remember what I was talking about, that map he had on his site. I saw it earlier. I should have saved it. I'll find it later. But it showed just how effective quote stuffing is. The idea is that if you can put in enough quotes and cancel them instantly, that people outside, 50, 100 miles, doesn't take that many quotes per second, basically 150, to make sure that whatever anybody's looking at away from the market could not see a actual quote that was actually there. It had already come, it had already gone, and it was a second late, and there was nothing you could do about it. A lot of people not happy that you could do that. That 350 millisecond order would change a great deal. But for quote stuffing, the interesting thing was that if you could just put in 35 orders in New York and cancel them all a millisecond later, that's all it took to make sure that somebody in LA never saw a real order. It was very interesting. Now, you could still trade, but what you were trading on was an echo that happened a second before. Anyway, kind of interesting stuff going on. A little bit of Lost in Translation and Up in Smoke, if you're familiar with those two movies. The Tesla, its electric car maker, began removing the term autopilot in China, the word for self-driving. I always thought, many others thought, it was a little bit of a shameless self-promotion to say autopilot when it wasn't anything of the kind. It was cruise control for the steering wheel and maybe a little bit more, but it wasn't autopilot. Anyway, they had to take it off of China following a wreck there that was publicized. And later in the day today, about 12:30, at the end of a big electronic road trip promotion that lasted about 2 weeks, the model Tesla S90D erupted into flames once again. But it was nice enough to tell the occupants to get the hell out. Apparently, it does have some temperature gauges in it, and it said, it's time to bail out, folks. And I'm sure we'll start seeing the video of this thing burning to the ground again, as we've seen before. But again, a good example of a company that is a cult stock. It doesn't matter whether this company put software in it that would start running down 6-month-old babies. It would not matter, and it doesn't matter, and it won't matter until it does. But if you want a good example of a cult company, it is. We've been saying that for a while here. I saw a bunch of people on the infotainment cable stations for finance say that today also. Just interestingly enough. After the bell, we don't really have anything to speak about until Wednesday. Then we get to Auto Home, Dick's Sporting Goods, Hanes Celestial, Home Depot, Momo, and TJX. Did a little bit more work on TJX and Ross stores, and a lot of the other retailers have come out and shown that their inventory, they cut it way, way back and still didn't do well. And if you're looking for a TJ Maxx or a Ross store that basically resells stuff that was in fashion 6 months ago, I'm a big fan of those, although my favorite Steinmart down here, because they have lots of golf shirts, which is exactly what you need down here in Florida. But TJX company's coming out. Many people are saying that this means that the price that they pay for discontinued items is going to be much higher, and expecting them either to miss and or warn going forward. This is one of these companies that has to have a great surplus of product to make money. If they don't, then they have to buy product at first line prices like everybody else. So keep a look on that one this week. This is going to tell us a little bit more about TJ Maxx, right, and the rest of the stores. They're going to tell us a great deal more about the other stores, just how much extra product that they have. They're running extremely lean from the reports. If TJ Maxx misses out here, this may be one of these stocks that doesn't have a lot of control over its forward inventory, so you want to keep an eye on it. We'll talk more about these stocks after this.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And that's before the bell. I think I might have said after the bell on Wednesday. Before the bell. After the bell, we've got Cree and Urban Outfitters. And then we get into Thursday with Walmart. And then it's kind of, pretty light week already of earnings, and then way down until we get into probably late September or October when we start this whole thing all over again. As always, we'll check in with the market. Already in progress on most of TFNN. We're up 7.5 points on the S&P cash. We still haven't cracked 2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, and this is at 2:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. So I don't know what else you can say about that. It is a mad market, and we'll try not to be mad about it. As soon as I can find my charts here. We'll go through as many stocks as we can. Again, not a lot happening out here. We did have Cisco come out before the bell, and they had a lot of people short this stock, of course, because retail restaurants have been so poor. There we go. And I don't know what else you can say about it other than this thing. They ran everybody up in the morning, and it's lower than its close on Friday out here. It was just one of these things where they ran everybody. I think this can tell you a lot. Now, just in today, this is an ugly candle because it just means that they ran all the shorts out of this thing in the morning. And now there aren't a whole lot to be coming out here. I was looking at this for a day trade, didn't bite on it. But Cisco, if you're unfamiliar with them, is the company that backs up those trailers to just every one of the chain restaurants. So what do they got, 80% of the business? 75? They were trying to buy the other last 20% of that, minus 5% with some really tiny companies. And the government said, no. But I don't know what that, you've got almost a virtual monopoly in this company. If you want to know how retail restaurants are doing, watch this in the coming weeks and months. They've been incredibly weak. This stock has held up fairly well. My guess is that other than probably putting a happy face out here running the shorts in the morning, pretty much tells you everything you need to know. But if you want a canary in the coal mine to all those chain restaurants that have, for the most part, been doing rather poorly, check out Cisco, SYSCO, not the CISCO of router fame. Other stocks of interest, Sorrel Auto Parts. This is a penny stock, but man, it did okay today. SORL, not something we talk about a great deal here. It's a fairly low volume stock. But if you think that auto parts are going away anytime soon, you just look at the way that Ford reacted. Those auto parts companies may hold up even through a downturn in the markets once again as the fleet continues to age even longer. To AAC Holdings, nice little pop-up on some earnings news. Again, not a huge volume mover out here. But again, there aren't that many out here with big volumes. I think that's it for what's moving out here today. Let's take a quick look at Facebook. As I said, the FANG stock's not contributing any today. In the Facebook part. What else do we have? Facebook moving. This thing, as we said, I kind of think that this thing is up here. They've been doing some pretty horrible things the last few days. If they don't want to be the target of an investigation from the Department of Justice for anti-trade, monopoly, whatever you want to call it. They just look incredibly close to being the next Microsoft in 2000 to me. And there's a handful of these companies that are doing it. Apple kind of bypassed it. They had a danger point where they may have seen the government come in to break them up. Microsoft, of course, had that for a long time. Facebook, though, copying all its competitors, using just about everything else that they can to come to this high. And that they can't rally on a day like this to all-time highs has to make you think that there's something else again. But I don't know what else you can say. To ACIA, another day up here. Volume not tracking all that bad. This gapped up, of course, on Friday on earnings. Another nice gap up here. Probably going to get one more gap out of this thing, I would imagine, before this thing tops out. Lots of volume, which is not bad. EBIO, another one that's up. This is 11 Biotherapeutics. For me, it comes too close to 7-Eleven Biotherapeutics, BEIO. I wouldn't have picked this name, but, you know, nice gap up on Friday, nice gap up today for the biotechs, which basically, what are they, flat? The IBB, it's up 1%. That's kind of flat for it. Just not a lot of juice in these biotechs. But again, they're just kind of holding them up to these levels. I had a question that did I think I could see the IBB hit $300? And you could. Anytime I see gaps like this, to me, it's got light volume up here. But again, I see these big gaps, especially double gaps. And that's where I would probably be more willing to pull the trigger on this one now, which is about 318, 320, maybe 324. There's even a higher one out there, but this is the big gap down on volume that was, what is that? 3.3 million shares. What do we have today so far on the IBB? A whopping 500,000 shares. Is that right? Let me update this just to make sure. Oh, 756,000. Okay. Well, 4 million or 4.4 million to 756,000. I think that tells you kind of everything you need to know about that April 22nd high at 289. You really needed to have some juice going through it. You kind of had a couple of days, never really made it as it got to that high, and then volume has been light and getting lighter. Today will be yet another light day out here. And overlays, none. Displaced moving averages. You know, this is one out here that is set up perfectly for a double repo pattern. You don't want this thing in the next 3 days to close below that 3x3 displaced moving average, or probably more like the traditional moving average, which would be a 9-day. And we'll look at this when we come back. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And what were we talking about? Oh, IBB. And it could kind of light and variable out here, but man, we just cracked a whole 2 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange tape. You want to see highs with no volume, you've come to the right picture show here. Icon, which is another big retail group. Nice volume, nice candle today. Not a lot of volume in this one. The energy's not bad, but you would have liked to seen maybe a bigger sign of strength back out here. These range-bound stocks live. Now, this one, of course, used to be a big high flyer. Another one of these that rallied pretty hard in the penny stock area. That gave up almost all of it. So, you know, this light volume, it's very tough to not find people willing to take as much cash as they can on any kind of big move, and certainly got that with live deal this morning. But again, these are fairly bearish candles sitting on top of many of these stocks. Meet Me, not real familiar with this other one, but it is one of the more bearish out here. Down on heavy volume, broke through a fairly decent uptrend out here on Friday, and then, of course, fell apart today, blew through its previous gap up, and it's doing it on more volume today. What's the, I wonder what this thing actually does. Meetme.com, huh? Okay. What do we got here? Social network for meeting people on the web on a mobile platform in the United States. Company operates MeetMe Mobile, a multilingual menu of resources that promotes social interaction, information, and other topics of interest. Huh. No wonder I haven't heard of it. QPesa, they've already changed their name. That's always a bad sign, by the way. Anytime you see a company that's not well known that changes their name, and it's not like, that big company that had a giant oil spill, BP, and it changes its name because, of course, it doesn't want to be known as BP anymore. But, I don't know what else you can say. Down on heavy volume today, blowing everything apart back through, what is it, mid last month. NBY, not in my backyard. Huh. Nova Bay Pharmaceuticals, another little penny out here. This thing took off on Friday. Didn't have a chance to really check it out. A little bit more continuation out here. Maybe one more day out of this one. And look for this thing to pull back. OCUL. What do we have? Ocular Therapeutics, this one's coming back to its gap. Actually, one of the better looking ones down here. This fell apart on June 6th with 4 million shares, 4.2 million shares. It's already got 4 today. So it could be worse, as they say. Not chicken soup. PSG, Street Track Indexes. This thing fell apart. It's back into the pennies today. I didn't check out what's going on in it. Let's take a look at some of the FANG stocks. Google, I talked a little bit about this in the den. I thought I'd bring it up on the air, but it was the incredibly light short volume in Alphabet. And of course, when you get $800 stocks, most people will go ahead and buy the puts or the calls on it instead of putting $800 in there and hoping for a big percentage change. They'll hope to get it in the options underneath it. That tends to mean that there isn't a whole lot of shares short the equity physically that would either cover one day or get squeezed out. That tends to make a lot of these prices pretty coherent, and you don't see a lot of action by the shorts in these. But that also means that on any bad news, those shorts aren't there to actually cover. So you get, somebody was saying something, I can't remember who it was now. And I said, I really don't like being long these stocks without the upside of knowing at least some shorts may have to cover. There's not a whole lot going on in this one. But at the same time, the downside risk in these stocks is much higher. When you look at this, or you look at something like a Priceline, PCLN, not a lot of people hoping that they can make 5% if this thing goes back down $100, right? And actually, Priceline not looking that good. Coming back to its 9-day here. This gapped up, didn't have a lot of energy on its earnings. I was rather dubious. There were some people short this, and there were a lot of puts on it. And I have a feeling that he tried to get rid of it, ran the stock a little bit. Nice move, dollar-wise, percentage-wise, not that big a deal. But you want to watch this one and the next one. But it's the same thing. Not a lot of people shorting a $1,435 equity and getting, 5 shares or something. Just, if you can't get 100 shares. Now, the street, especially large funds, love it because the volatility tends to be a whole lot less. They can hold this stock for 6 months or a year and not get blown out of it and buy a fairly decent sized position without having the market turn on them a great deal. But at the same time, that means that if any bad news does come out, there aren't a lot of natural buyers down below that will want to cover if they are short. And that's where the risk reward on these gets rather poor, i.e. that there aren't a lot of shorts. If you do get some bad news and the market turns down, there aren't that many people out there that are going to have to cover. And if you get in, especially late into an August, you get into a buyer's strike where they've just all gone on vacation and you get bad news. That's where the risk in these big Googles and Pricelines and other stocks that are $500, $1,000, $1,500 really come in. And you see that. Like I said, Google had 1 day to cover, which isn't much. Priceline's not that much better. You just do not see a great deal of short fodder out there, cannon fodder to be had. And even though this one kind of bounced up, you see these tend to come back rather quickly. And again, the shorts, if they did lose, they can probably handle a loss like this. A $10 stock that goes to $20 is where you get killed in shorts. But it's just kind of the opposite. This is where a lot of people probably should be shorting these high-priced stocks or buying puts on them. And they're out there shorting $10 stocks that go to 20, get their heads taken off. Just my idea. Anyway, the FANG stocks. Let's take a quick look at Apple. What else is going on out here? Apple Trying to get back up here today. One of the few that's actually higher. It was lower earlier in the day. Back up to this gap down. The gap down on April 18th had 61 million shares. And we're into that with 27 million shares. Nothing going on there, is there? We'll be back. We'll be back for the home stretch into the Tom O'Brien.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of The Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And somebody put a list of sins that Tesla had in the den right here from our friend John in Philly. And it's nothing that I haven't brought up before, but I had some emails also asking me about Tesla during the break that came in. One of the things that you really need is to understand energy density. And that is that if you have a gigawatt power station that's producing power for New York or something, and it runs on coal, you're going to need about 80 train cars full of coal a day to run the thing. That's 80 cars every single day. And, it's 365 days a year. If you have a nuclear power station that needs to put out the same thing, you're talking literally a half a boxcar for the year. That is what's known as energy density. How far can you go on a given amount of space and weight? And there's a lot of discussion on electric cars that I think just really hasn't gotten to the idea that, maybe if you wanted to do the boxcar analogy, is it 40 boxcars? Is it 20 boxcars that equal, gasoline being the nuclear power station in this analogy? But the other thought I had too was just how much Apocalypse Now, which is actually a remake of a book called The Heart of Darkness, where the protagonist goes up the stream and things just get weirder and more insane the farther he goes. This list of sins is fairly big, and Mr. Kurtz in Apocalypse Now, of course, went all the way. And as they say, never get off the boat. Absolutely right. Anyway, it's just a very interesting company when you talk about cults. Let's see. We had Facebook. We didn't look at Amazon yet. I said we'd get to the rest of the fangs out here. Apple wasn't up earlier. Amazon down just a little out here, going sideways on a day where we're chasing highs once again. Did I get rid of that? I did. Hang on. I need to move this back. Give me just a second. Okay. I wanted to check back in here. 2192 on the S&P cash, 2.14 billion shares. So we're going to come in 350 million light of Friday's volume, and Friday's volume was light. So it kind of tells you everything that you need to know. No real earnings coming along here. As we look at Facebook, Amazon, we'll look at Netflix if I've got time. Down a little bit of volume, actually creeping up from Friday's out here. Probably Amazon is not a good one to look at. Facebook or Netflix is probably more interesting out here to me right now, because this has shown continual weakness, and almost where I would have pulled the trigger. I would have liked this thing to get to almost about $98. But one of the better looking shorts out here, most likely. Unfortunately, everybody and their dogs already short this thing, but kind of a good symbol out here that this thing went higher today. The market went higher, and Netflix could not go higher with it. We saw a little bit in Apple, but again, very light volume for the shorts in this market, which means that if they do push this up, there may be a little higher. You get a few of those people short to squeeze out, but the downside, any surprise, not going to be a lot of shorts to cover when we go south. Thanks again for listening to the show. As always, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.